Welcome to ShiftWatch. I'm your host, Starbuck. In this episode, with all the discussions surrounding Mount Shasta recently, I thought I'd share a bit from my experiences to show you there's more to the area than just the mountain. If you are a water lover, you have several options nearby and they're all energetic. Next, the EarthMaster is here, illustrating the correlation between solar storms and our planet's seismic activity. Then, James Gilliland shares some of his sky traffic videos from over ECETI Ranch. This one is a cigar-shaped mothership moving across the sky. And finally, Sharula Dux, Lemurian princess, describes the levels within Telos, the Lemurian capital, beneath Mount Shasta.
Got latest earthquake activity here is a 1.6 hiding out here in the green flag somewhere. This comes after a fairly busy day here of earthquake activity following a solar proton event from a decent-sized flare that kicked off here last night. During the Friday night period, we had a considerably large M flare kick off in the Earth-directed view, shooting off a large CME and a bunch of protons there. In fact, check out this proton map. We are still quite elevated, almost approaching the S2 threshold. Solar radiation here kicking into the planet. Now, there's another map showing the elevated protons slamming into the planet. This kicked up roughly last night, around 11, 12 o'clock, early Saturday morning. And the result, as we can see here, is an uptick in large earthquake activity, with 4 6-pointers being reported out here since 1:30 in the morning. This is going to be one for the books here that I'm going to mark up. I've been keeping a total tally here of what affects earthquake activity, and the relationship between space weather activity and earthquake movement. But that proton event here definitely stirred up some larger activity out here across the planet. More precisely, the Pacific Plate. Started off with a 6-pointer there across Japan, and then things really ramped up there across the Kermadec Trench with 3 6-pointers within a number of hours of each other throughout the day today. Since then, well, it looks like the no further movement down there. But we are still getting bombarded with protons and electrons, as you can see here on the solar proton flux map. Now, there's some speculation here that there's some electrical activities that take place in the atmosphere or maybe around the ground just before a large earthquake. A lot of folks reporting seeing some lights in the sky and whatnot before large earthquake activity. But if you think about it here, getting bombarded here by electrons and protons at the speed of light here, as they're slamming into the planet, they have to have some type of effect on the plate tectonics themselves. Some studies here suggest that the electric disturbances in the atmosphere and ground may occur before earthquakes, potentially as a result of changes in the Earth's crust. These disturbances can manifest as an ionospheric disturbance, magnetic pulses, and changes in the atmosphere as atmospheric electricity. While some research indicates a correlation between these disturbances and earthquakes, it's important to note that the evidence is still developing, and that's what I'm doing. I'm putting together a little handy-dandy notebook of a relationship between earthquake activity and space weather activity, and every time we get a proton event here, such as what we're seeing right now, we haven't even got hit with the CME activity yet. That's coming in about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. We'll get into that here in a minute. But nothing affects the plate tectonics as what I've seen as the proton and electron events here. When we get bombarded by protons, earthquake activity really ramps up, and today is just one of those days here where it goes into the book here. I don't think it's a coincidence here at all. 4 6.0 earthquakes since the arrival of the charged protons slamming into the planet. So it's still elevated, still going up, according to the solar proton flux here. Look at the global D-layer absorption map here. Shows that we are getting bombarded here with protons, and this is coming into a solar radiation storm of about a 2 level. That's a decent amount. Northern and the southern areas of the planet showing that absorption there from the protons. And we'll expect here potentially to see some further escalation of earthquake activity through the remainder of the night. I don't see this going down yet. But just it's a theory right now. As they mentioned, it's just a study that there's some correlation there between the two events, space weather activity and earthquake activity. And in my studies here, in my short-term studies, I see more relationship between earthquake activity ramping up following the arrival of charged proton events from the sun than I do at any other level. Say a CME is going to hit us, 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. In other past events, when a CME arrived, we never really seen anything. There was really never any uptick in earthquake activity, and I've seen that in the past. It just the relationship between the CMEs and earthquake activity very low. But when you bring in the charged proton events, earthquake activity ramps up like crazy. So we'll watch this throughout the evening and tomorrow, as long as those charged protons remain elevated like they are right now. It's just really kicking up out there.
Yeah, I got it on film.
Do you have the night vision goggles, James?
I put them away. But I got these on film. This thing on film, whatever.
Right now?
Yeah. Look at that. I don't know, man. It looks like a massive mothership.
That is rad. I don't think they're showing us the whole thing.
That thing is massive.
That is so cool. Yeah, and it came from the left by the moon. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is the.
Darlene's like, beautiful. Kind of like when you try to call it a night, really, right?
I had a feeling something told me to come back. I go, man, as soon as I leave, it's going to happen. And then I came back and grabbed the camera. Let's get it back.
And you can tell it's kind of on the outer orbit, the way it's tilted.
Backdrop. There's the ground. There's the mountain.
But get me in there. What's up? That's so cool.
Oh, look at this. Another one coming down on it.
Oh, yeah?
Look at that. Look at the other one coming in on it. Oh, another one flashed in front of it. Everybody's coming to check this one
Well,
out.
remember the one that flew in that direction? It looks like that's where that one's going.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's almost like 2 layers. There's 2 layers of it. I know it changed angles. Yeah, it's totally changed its trajectory.
Its angle.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
you know, might have been its lights. I hope it's not one of Musk's string of lights.
Does he have that?
Nothing that close. I mean, that tight. He does have a Starlink up there, but it doesn't look like this. Anything like this. So you have the trees in there for perspective. I'm sure they're going to come up with something. Oh, whoa. See that? Yeah. Like it dropped something off, look like.
The city itself, Telos, as I said, is built under a dome that reaches quite a few hundred feet from floor to ceiling and spreads across most of what would be the base of Mount Shasta. Looking from the outside, the top of the dome is about halfway up the mountain. The bottom of the dome is just about even with the base of the mountain. Underneath that are 5 more levels that had been constructed. These levels take up a space so that the deepest levels are about a mile below the ground level at Shasta. The rest of the city is built on 5 levels of several square miles across. These levels are divided up by usage. The top level, being under the dome itself, is where the main part of the city is. This is where the majority of the people live. This is where the public buildings are. This is where most commerce takes place. The second level down is where manufacturing takes place. Some classes take place, and also more people live on. The third level down is totally hydroponic gardens where we grow all of our food supplies. The fourth level down is half hydroponic gardens, part nature and part manufacturing. The final level down is what we call our nature level. This is the level that is more than a mile in some spots below the ground. In this level, we have created lakes, tall trees, park-type atmospheres. This is where animals live. We have had animals underneath for so long that they have lost their aggressions. That and different temples, priests and priestesses worked, you might say, with their ancestors, removing the need of fear, since it is fear that creates aggression, not only in humans, but also in animals. Thus, we truly have the experience of lions lying down with lambs. In the nature levels, this is where people have come to relax. This is also where we have saved many animals and plants from extinction. More on side 2. In these nature levels, as I said, many plants and animals have been preserved from extinction by being placed within the nature levels of Telos, Poseidon, and many other of the subterranean cities. Thus, we still do have many of the plants that have been extinct on the surface. We still have saber-toothed tigers. We still have mastodons We still have your provincial dodo bird. We don't have dinosaurs. They were a little big to keep. However, some dinosaurs do still live in areas of the Congo and areas of the rainforests in the Amazon. Plus there are many sea-going dinosaurs, much as the famous Nessie in Loch Ness and many others such as that. In these levels, people find that they are able to integrate and integrate with animals that would normally be dangerous, simply by getting animals over the fear. And these animals have also been fed a vegetarian diet, including the things such as the big cats, for going on thousands and thousands of years now, which has also taken away much of their aggression. Therefore, you're able to go down and in many incidences, taking into consideration their great size and strength, you're basically able to play with a saber-tooth or a Bengal tiger much as you would a house cat by scratching their chest or under their ear, pulling their whiskers. Which brings us to the fact that even such as the large cats like that are not aggressive, but are actually very gentle and loving when raised in the right circumstances. Which brings us again back to the purpose of this, the eventual reintegration of the two cultures, the subterranean and the surface, to bring back out what has been preserved and what has been prepared, so that this again becomes one planet, one civilization, and that people will be able to live on the surface or in subterranean cities or both at will.